You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Catfish After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Catfish After Show.
A good choice.
Yeah. Kanye.
Kanye was on Catfish tonight.
Was he?
Yeah.
His BFF, Kidd Cole.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so we're back with Catfish Season 3, Episode 4, Lucille and Kidd Cole. Super different, episode, right?
Super
really
different.
Unique.
Kidd Cole will use loosely the name Kidd Cole.
Yeah, or Jerez,
Yeah.
whatever. Really weird. I like how Catfish is going this season, different storylines and everything.
We should introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. My name's Kelly. Here's my awesome co-host.
I'm Jessie Owens.
Miss Jessie Owens.
Miss Jessie Owens.
And I'm Sterling Cates. Kiki, we miss you.
Yeah, Kiki's.
She couldn't get off work today, so she'll be back next week.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so it starts off at Lucille, who contacts Neve and Max saying that she has a little bro, big sister relationship with this guy named Kidd Cole, who's a music producer, signed to Kanye's label, and she starts working for him and everything. She has this event.
Yeah, I feel like it's more than a big brother, little sister relationship, because it's more like a business partnership, because she's doing all of these transactions and planning things.
Well, I guess
Super
it starts
weird.
off as big brother, because that's what she said, and then all of a sudden Miguel contacts her asking to help with this event in DC, and if she does it really well, then she could work for the label and everything.
Right.
So she has to hire all these security people and drivers, and she does all this, and she never gets paid. And Miguel disappears, and Kidd Cole contacts her this month saying, "Oh, my credit card expired or whatever. I need yours for a CNN transportation, to have an interview for CNN, but I need transportation there." So weird.
First off, in these 2 weeks that all this is going on, it should have been the first red flag that she had never met him.
Yeah.
She's doing all this promoting for him. She's going to these events, and we never really find out if she ever went to these events, if he performed these events.
I don't think she was ever there, because she would have already known that he was a fake. But I don't get how she's booking these events for him to make appearances at high schools, and he's not even a real rapper.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't go to these high schools and see what exactly he was doing at the high schools.
Right. So apparently what Loretto that we find later, who is the limo driver, from what she was saying, it sounded like the security detail that he hired was really just for show. They would stand outside of clothing stores and all that stuff to make it seem like a famous person was inside.
Which was...
So we kind of got that answer.
Yeah.
And everywhere they went to eat, they would have to pay for him because he didn't have any money.
Because he got robbed of his credit cards. Right. So we need to talk about just how much money everyone is out here.
Yeah.
So Lucille, who is the one who contacted Neve and Max, she's out $500, which isn't really much compared to the security.
But she was expecting to get paid $1,000.
Yeah, and she was expecting to become the executive assistant for her managers.
Yeah, for the record label.
For the record label, which is good music, which
and
is
that's
Kanye
another
West.
red flag. Who contacts a fan and is like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to make you producer," when you have no college degree, you have nothing.
Right.
You have no background in the music.
She contacted him on Twitter or something and direct messaged him.
As
but
a fan,
it is weird.
But they did have that relationship for over a year before this all happened. So I feel like maybe they did have that trust formed. And I actually felt bad for her when she said, I really felt like this was my big break. Like, I thought everything was
and she
finally
clearly
coming.
was pretty good at it, considering she like hired all these people, kept them in check, and apparently like he would call late at night asking for food, and she would deliver that to him.
Well, no, she would just order it for him. I don't think she ever met him in person. Yeah.
But so and then the security was out $13,000. Drivers $18,000, like $24,000 total, basically.
Right.
Yeah, the grand total was $23,928.74.
And so no one got paid, obviously.
Yeah.
And this has been going on, and so then
that happened in November.
Right.
And then so Neve and Max does some super research, what they always do, and they look up Kidd Cole. He has an MTV page and everything. But apparently it's super easy to create. Anybody could create it.
Yeah, it turns out you can make your own MTV artist page. Yeah. I'm going to go home and do that ASAP.
Yeah. Lil K, that's my name. That's what I'm going to be. No, I don't know. But so, and then they look up his SoundCloud or his sound page, and it's not even, all this music that's on there is not even his real music.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, they do the SoundHound app, which is kind of like Shazam that we were talking about, and it identifies what song is playing, and so it never came up with Lil Cole or whatever.
It said
Gary Coleman. Wait, isn't Gary Coleman like?
It's a Gary Coleman is the mixtape, but the artist is Lil Martin.
Yeah.
Get with it, Miss Jessie Owens.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. But Gary Coleman, like, if I'm correct, he's the little
angry
midget.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He raps?
No, I think that's just the name of the title.
Name of the mixtape.
Oh, okay.
They're, I guess, fans of
just had to get
Gary
facts straight.
Coleman.
Yeah. So then they look up the phone number that she had for Miguel and for Kidd Cole. I always get their names.
Yeah, and it's
wrong.
both.
The rappers.
Yeah, it's both under Stone Cold Jerez. Like, that's the
right.
owner
So
of
they're
it.
the same person.
Yeah.
She thought one was the manager, one was the artist. Turns out they're the same person. Big surprise.
Yeah.
Why is his name that under the account though? Like, wouldn't
Stone Cold Jerez.
Like that's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Like that's
not cold enough though, because it is in the D.
But that's weird. His name is like Jerez Coleman, but like it came up as Stone Cold Jerez. Like that's weird.
Interesting.
I guess maybe I guess he could change the name on it. I don't know. But so Neve calls Allison, who's the MTV music supervisor, just to make sure like how easy it is to create this MTV page. Super easy, and she has an in with good music to see if he actually exists or they know of him.
They've never heard of him.
Yeah, they never.
Obviously.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
This guy.
And I mean, to top it all off, there's this Facebook page that says Kidd Cole scam artist, and everyone's posting their stories. So obviously this guy, and the last one was just a few weeks ago, so obviously he's still doing it. He's still scamming all of these people. It's probably thousands and thousands of dollars for him just to be gallivanting around in fancy transportation and with a security fleet.
They said he was like Obama.
Acting
like Obama.
Really quick though, before we talk about anything else, I guess we should just quickly mention Maria's new book. How about Maria talks about it right now?
Didn't she look
Throw it over to Maria.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here, and I want to share my newest book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, with you. Basically, every woman always stops me and asks me how I lost 40 pounds. So I decided to put it all in one book. Everything I did to lose 40 pounds step by step, and how you can too, is in here. I did it with no time, no money, and no willpower, and now I'm going to show you how to do it too. You can pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever books are sold, and it's out June 3rd. So I hope you guys love it. I hope it helps you in your weight loss journey, and please, please tweet me and update me on your progress at Maria Menounos. Thanks.
Pretty cool, huh?
I need to get one of those.
I know, right?
That's my thing, is the willpower. Like, I could stay home and stay on the couch, or I could go to the gym, and it's usually stay home.
Mine's like portion control. I can't not eat a lot of everything. Like
I should call Maria and we'll all go work out, and that'll be our motivation, just looking at her body.
Like, I could get that one day. But yeah, cool. So the page though is created by a friend of Loretta's, because she's like, my friend was a limo driver. She just got scammed in February, which was like a few weeks ago.
But weren't there other
Well, I think
people
Loretta had
commenting?
commented
Yeah.
too and said, this happened to me as well. I'm a limo driver. He
Yeah.
scammed me out of $8,000. Yeah.
And so they contact Loretta to see what's up. And she's like, yeah, he has, but I don't really trust people. Can you meet me?
Can you verify that
Yeah.
this is Neve? Because
legit.
Yeah, no, I would have done the same thing.
Honestly, if something that bad happened to you, I'd have trust issues.
And then this
meeting-
famous like catfish guy is like, oh, Loretta.
Yeah.
But what's confusing on that is what limo company is just like, oh, we'll get all this stuff and send you a bill. Like, don't you usually have to like pay for this stuff in advance?
No, it's usually like when I would book stuff in my past life for you usually book everything and then they send you an invoice after you have your service, after everything is completed.
I just think it's weird though that they paid for, I guess, H&M and the food and stuff, right?
Right.
Did
Because
he go shopping? It never said that he went shopping. It said he was shopping,
he was
but not spending.
I think he might have been browsing. But the thing is
Window
that this guy
shopping.
like pretty much covered most of his bases. Unless you have the services that Neve and Max have that you pay for, you wouldn't have known otherwise. He has this MTV artist page. He has a SoundCloud account with songs under it. And unless you're like
Twitter too.
Right, and unless you like know these songs from these pretty low
Obscure bands.
right.
Yeah.
Then you would totally think he's legit, and he has a Twitter, and he's communicating with his fans, and he has a security fleet and transportation.
Yeah. But when you
And it
Google
even-
his real name, the scam thing pops up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Loretta said that when she got a call from Miguel or whoever it was that contacted him that was pretending to rep for him, that she said they Googled his name and found events that he was participating in the
DC.
area. So, I mean, if you see that, I mean, and they did take that step of Googling him, so I feel like he definitely.
But then she was also
covered his
giving
bases.
him money too. Like, that's weird to me. Like, if
Right.
somebody just emailed me on Twitter or something, like, and was like, oh, I need you to pay this, front that, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah, I
Right.
would. I guess it depends on the person. Some people are way more trusting, and then Google, I guess with Google, it seemed legit. People don't really, they just see quickly, like, the main Google things, and they're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, he has an event here, like,
boom.
let's
Yeah.
get him transportation.
But
But then he said that her SUVs that she had weren't good enough for him, so she subcontracted all these Mercedes,
Yeah.
which made it even more expensive out of her
She
pocket.
paid $3,000 out of her pocket.
Right, for him to ride around on a Mercedes.
Yeah. But, they flew down to D.C. to meet her because they were based out of Philly. They were talking to Lucille in Philly, so they flew down to meet Loretta one-on-one, talking to her. And the phone number that contacted her was a New York number, which
Right.
I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's weird if you're a rapper and your reps might be in New York or your reps
Well,
might be in LA.
yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of makes it seem more legit to me.
Yeah.
Miguel is, what's his name?
Is the guy. Is
the same
Kid
guy.
Cole.
Kid
It's the
Cole.
same guy.
But I think it's so funny. They're like, he had a British accent.
Right. Maybe he
He was so quiet to have such a good accent.
Yeah, maybe that's something he's
Yeah.
been practicing just to make it seem
In
like
his
he's a different person.
Because he's so talented.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Loretta, they're talking with Loretta some more, and she says that she drops they get a bond, her and Kidd Cole, like a little trust bond. So he even has her drop him off at his home, and once she didn't get paid, I guess she went there to confront him, and his grandma answers, and
Says his mother's upstairs.
yeah. And the mom doesn't even come down or anything to like speak to her about her son or anything. And the lady, who I guess wasn't the grandma, was like, no, they've been living with me for 2 months.
I think they're
I
homeless.
think they're home. Yeah.
Wait, did the lady that answered the door, did she introduce herself as the grandmother?
Well, she said, do you know Stone Cold Jerez or whatever? And she was like, no, I don't know that person.
Jerez Coleman, I
Yeah,
think.
whatever
Yeah.
it was. And then she said Kidd Cole, and she was like, oh yeah, they're here. His mom's upstairs. But then she said, I think they might be homeless. They've been staying with me for 2 months. So
I don't think the
obviously-
maybe
grandma
he told
would
the
say-
limo driver that it was his grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, he did.
But
That's why
it's weird. There's lots of gaps like that too, because then like Lucille set up events at high schools with security guards, and why?
So did he even? What they never
go?
answered is that if he ever even went to those high schools. Like I don't get what he was doing there.
Yeah, and did the security even see him? Like I don't understand. I don't understand. Like this is a weird scam
I have
artist.
the answer.
Yeah.
He lip sang. You remember like Ashley Simpson did on SNL?
Oh yeah, maybe he could have.
He
maybe he
did
performed and just.
But I want to, like, why didn't they go to the high schools? It doesn't, like, if you're a scam
he might
artist,
have had those performances at the high school, but he just performed as Kidd Cole, this person who's under Kanye West, and everyone else believed him because they saw the artist page. And
Maybe that's all Lucille could book.
high schools?
or I mean, it might be.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, she's not, I mean, I don't want to be mean and say she's a nobody, but, I mean, in that industry.
He's a somebody,
he's a
though.
nobody.
He produced with Kanye West and everything.
Yeah.
You know, his birthday was with Jaden Smith and Robin Thicke and everything.
Yeah.
So he
It was
says.
it's like, if you're a scam artist, why are you spending all this money for security guards and, like, high school events? Why don't you, like, just take
Well, he talked about that later, and I guess we'll get there. But so I really going back to Loretta, I really liked how she was like, I don't care if I'll get my money back, but I'm going to haunt you every day for the rest of my life. You can call me spooky. Yeah, that was
so
really
good.
funny. I really
And I
liked
like
her.
how she went back there and was like, yo, where's, try to confront him and everything.
Right.
So at least she
Well,
was
obviously she's out, thousands
So
of
much-
dollars.
yeah.
So obviously she's going to go back and try to get it.
But why didn't she sue? Like, okay, like, I understand Lucille didn't have the money to go to, not criminal, but civil court.
Right.
Why? She has a limo company. Surely
And she has,
enough
like, the
money to
contract
go to
and
court.
everything,
It
right?
Well,
wasn't
the
them.
contract's fake, so she can't do anything with it.
But it.
How does the
She
limo
doesn't
company
know
not
that.
realize that this is a fake? Like they should have their own contracts,
That
for
you
them
sign,
to say,
yeah.
Isn't that
But
how real?
even Neve and them said,
This is
it
pretty
looked-
legit.
Yeah,
real,
it did
so-
look.
Said they got okie dokied.
Yeah,
I've never heard that saying before, but I think I'm going to start saying it.
I feel like it
Okey-dokey.
sounds too like positive though. Like
Yep.
And we don't want that.
Yeah. But yeah. So Loretta's out too, $8,000. That's her total, and so they're like, we got to call this Kidd Cole. We got to see what's up with him. So they call, I guess, from Neve's phone number. It's from a different. I don't think they call from.
No, they just they just
from
call from
Lucille's.
the numbers they usually call from.
Yeah. I don't think they call from Lucille's phone though, because maybe that's why he answered. And they explain, we're with Lucille, we're with Catfish. She really wants to meet you. And he's like,
they say, we've heard so many things about you. And he's like, oh,
Good things?
Good
Are they
things?
good things?
Are they all good things or are
All
they bad
he
things?
heard when they called was MTV.
You're going to be on
That's
TV.
all he heard. He didn't hear anything else. He's like, what? MTV?
Yeah, and they're totally
What?
going along with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we hear you're under good music. You have this
Big
huge
fan
rap
of Kanye
career.
West.
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of Kanye West. We'd love to meet you. And of course, he's going to jump on the opportunity to be on TV.
yeah, of course.
And it's Catfish. You've never heard of it?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried that he wasn't, because he's like, oh, I'm going to text you an address later. But then he did text the address. It was like a park or whatever at 12:30. But yeah, so they go and meet him, and it looks like the guy in the pictures. It looks like him.
It's the same guy.
Same dude.
Yep.
And they try and talk to him about they try and turn it around, saying like, listen, this is what you're doing to people.
Right. But first he's like, oh, I'm here working on a couple of projects with Wale.
With Wu-Tang, right,
Paul.
yes.
Yeah.
He had to think about it.
Right. He's like, he's like, projects. I'm working on projects.
Yeah.
He should have been like, who'd you say you were doing a project with again? And see
Say
if he
it
had it
different
right.
person.
And he's never heard of Catfish before. That's
Right.
why they're like, have you ever watched our show? And they're like, no.
That's another thing. Like, he has all this stuff going for him. He's booking all this stuff. How is he getting all this stuff online if he's homeless? And
Free Wi-Fi.
he tells his little backstory, later. We'll talk about that a little later. But it's like, how did you ever have? I mean, I understand there's libraries and stuff, but how many times are you gonna go to the library?
There's
a day?
Wi-Fi everywhere these
Yeah.
days. You can just.
And
How
he's
does he
probably
get
using that
started?
that old lady's computer or something. He probably got somebody to buy him a computer.
Everything he
listen.
has, someone else has bought.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just sad and not really mad, but just sad that they didn't go to the grandma's house. Like, why? Like,
There's a
you
lot
should've
of, like,
gone.
I mean, maybe they tried, but they don't want to put a little old lady in the middle of all of it.
Just a lot of unanswered questions for me.
I mean, they got to the bottom of it, whether they went to the grandma's house or the security place. Like, they figured
knew,
it all
yeah.
out without that.
His mama probably trained him. That's why she didn't want to come down.
Well, we don't
But
know
she
if that was his
yeah,
mom
it
because
doesn't
he was in foster care, so we don't know.
Or
if,
was he? Or was that
What-
just
yeah.
a story? Like, well,
I feel like he was.
yeah,
We'll talk about
We'll
it
talk
later.
that in a second.
So, like, ugh.
Yeah, it was really weird. So they start to turn around and be like, listen, she's out money. So we spoke to Loretta, she's out money. And he starts to go on his phone, just like
Yeah,
look at-
and
everybody
deliberately
And
ignoring
he
him.
was like, I really like that phone case. Can I see it?
Best
and he's like,
part.
oh yeah, here it is. And then he throws it in the water.
Yeah.
and,
and that gets his attention.
yeah,
He's like,
he's
you just
"Wait,
did my
go-"
phone. He looked like he was gonna cry, probably
Yeah.
because all his important contacts were in there.
And he can't afford a phone, obviously, since his credit card.
Well,
wasn't
Neve can
working.
get in a lot of trouble for throwing someone's phone in the river.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he clearly lost his patience, as he said, which
Yeah.
is great. I mean, I like that though because it shows that, like, as the audience viewer, you're getting frustrated because he's on his phone too, and you
Right.
want them to do something. And so I'm glad like Neve did something
Right.
about it. I mean, I
It shows
guess,
that it's a little less staged because in a real world situation,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have done that. He knows he shouldn't have done that, and he wouldn't have.
It was just the
But
heat
it
of
was
the
a
moment.
Heat of the moment decision.
He probably should have just taken the phone and held on to it. But you know what? You don't think about that. You get angry. You kind of black out with rage, I guess.
I like Neve's attitude though.
Yeah.
He's
getting-
on fire. This
Yeah.
And then the
season.
producer pulls him over. The producer, you can hear him cuss off the camera. He's like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
that shouldn't have
More
happened."
money.
Like, dude, we're gonna have to take away your show if you don't back off.
Yeah, but obviously, Catfish can afford to get this guy a new iPhone.
Yeah.
We need to get to the bottom of this story.
So, yeah, they said they'll pay for a new phone or whatever, and he doesn't really answer any of the questions about why are you doing this, why are you like, charging people, or like
He's only talking about the phone now at this
yeah.
point.
And so he's like, listen, how about tomorrow meet me at my studios and I'll prove to you I am who I say I am. And they're like, sure, yeah, that'll be awesome. The next day they go to this person's house.
It's like random cabin in the woods.
Yeah, it says like on the door there's a note saying, "Oh, come downstairs. We're in the studio." Go downstairs. It looks kind of like a studio.
It's like
a little-
totally 60s themed
Yeah.
or 70s or whatever.
we
Yeah,
meet Hattie, who's apparently his parents own the house. Okay, because Kanye's producer would really be friends, be at a parent's
Random
house.
couple's house
Yeah.
in the
Whose
middle of
house?
the woods.
It never said whose house it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And so they start playing a track that
They're
apparently
like, oh
he
yeah,
produced.
let's hear what you've laid down today or whatever. And they
And
They
Max
play it.
is secretly like Shazam, not
Sound
sound
hounding.
hounding, and not his. Another one, no surprise.
well, it's a song from like the 80s by a really famous band. It never showed who it was, but
Yeah.
that song was definitely by a girl group and didn't have any rapping in it.
yeah, unless maybe they just covered that over so they couldn't get the rights. But I'm sure,
Yeah.
like, anyways. So Neve's like, it's all right, cool. How about you guys got this set up? How about I try and lay some rapping down?
Yeah.
And so he goes in a booth and tries to start like doing it, but they can't hook up the microphone.
They can't figure out how it works because
don't
they
know-
have no idea.
Yeah.
That should be
'Cause they're
like
full of it.
number one step.
Yeah,
in
this
the
guy's
studio.
apparently the head sound engineer
Yeah.
for this album he's about to drop.
Yeah.
He recorded all those people on the wall.
Yeah, and he has no idea how the microphone
Mm-hmm.
works.
So he goes up to Hattie goes upstairs to like ask his friend, and is like oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like
No,
there's-
that's a producer for Catfish.
Oh, was it?
Because he realizes that he's in trouble now because he doesn't know how to operate any of the stuff, and they have totally caught him. So he goes upstairs and talks, and that's the same producer who like said, "We'll get you another phone."
Oh, I thought it said Hattie's like
Oh,
John.
I thought
Hattie's
it was
friend.
like I thought it was a producer or something, and he was confessing everything.
No, then because Max goes
Because
up
then
there.
Max goes up
And is
but
like-
he confesses that he's doing a favor.
Yeah.
But then why would the friend ask so you don't know who he is? Or
No, that was Max. Max came up
Oh.
and was
I
like,
did
It
think
seems
it
like
said
it was-
Hattie's friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it did.
I thought I saw that, but it did. I
it
thought it.
seemed
then
very like Catfish.
no. Then Max followed them up there.
Right.
That's why. And he's like, so tell me, like, do you know Kidd Cole and everything? He's like, yeah, I've known him a month.
Right. He's not a sound engineer. He's
Yeah.
just doing this favor.
Favor. It's not his house.
And he's like,
should've
so do you think
showed
he's
it.
a legit rapper? And he's like, maybe.
He only
Could
he
be.
sees his finished product. He never
Right.
sees him rap or anything.
As soon as that song played and he pulled it up, he should have been like, "Why does it say this and not your name?"
Right.
Like, then
Well, we saw when they first confronted him how he gets like really irritated and
Quiet
he could walk
and-
out. So they need to figure it out how they can
Slowly
sit him down,
fish him in.
slowly reveal all their tricks.
Yeah. Or else they'll get like
Nothing
they'll lose
out
the
of it.
fish.
They'll lose it.
Ugh,
Yeah,
this
that's the
guy
whole
makes
point.
me
You
want
gotta
to
catfish.
punch him. Like, I just want to punch
He
him.
was he is a terrible person. So they go back downstairs and they're like, yeah, so we find he's not the sound engineer. Can you just tell us what's going on? And he just is like, no, I'm
shut off, and he kept saying,
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
getting-
stand being disrespected. I can't, like,
what a like
oh.
he's such a he
Okay.
has no remorse or anything.
Okay, them bringing up that he owes.
All
He was
this
saying,
money.
I can't believe I'm being disrespected about my talent, like that we've ever heard him rap. We've never heard you rap. You owe thousands of dollars to several different people. And the fact that you're saying, I can't believe I'm being disrespected about your talent, this has nothing to do with your talent.
Show us.
Right,
If
show us, and then we will
Neve was even like, if you had talent, you'd have rap music already, and you would have showed us this, you
Right.
know? But you don't.
Or
You don't have
even
anything.
If you don't have it, rap for me right now. Let me hear you. But
Yeah.
he's so like soft spoken and doesn't
He's
talk
full-
and just
he
shuts
doesn't
off.
write.
Like,
His talent is irrelevant. That is not
His talent is scamming people.
Right.
Which
Well,
is-
and also, if he wants to be a rapper, this, first of all, is not the way to go about it. But second of all, you're not even showing us real tracks of yours. Like, if you want to be
Yeah.
famous by scamming people, then actually throw in some of your real tracks, and then maybe people will say, "Oh, this is actually good." Maybe
Yeah.
we'll disregard the fact that he scammed all the people to get here.
Clearly, he could afford a way to record something, considering he's scamming all these people out of money. He could scam them out of getting a studio.
Getting the
thing.
record out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
It's so, and
But he does say that when they ask him, and he's kind of starting to break a little bit.
Max like kind of talks to
Yeah.
him, talks him down,
Right.
Which is good. It's funny because like Neve is like the guy with the temper, and then Max is like all the cameras.
He's
leave.
trying to be relatable.
Yeah, it's a good duo they've got.
best friend.
Yeah, it works out, and he's like, just tell them, like, just say sorry or something. That maybe because clearly
Yeah.
you can't afford this. We know that, but just like say something,
Right.
And so it calms him down a little bit, and he goes into this story that he, at 16, he was in a shelter, and then he went to
Foster care.
Yeah, foster care.
And
And
he says the reason behind that he's doing all of these things and scamming all these people is that he wants his rap career break, and that he wants to shut the haters up.
Yeah.
Because there people were saying, oh, if you're such a big deal and you're such a big rapper and you're under Kanye West and all this stuff, why don't you have security guards, or why aren't you riding around
Which
in the
is
limo?
irrelevant, like-
So that's why he scammed people, to get the limo, to get the
Well, he
security
was
guard, to make him
lying.
seem like a bigger idea.
He just sees like that with celebrity you get
It's all about the
security and
image,
stuff.
yeah.
Which is like you need the talent first,
Right.
before that.
You got to do the
He
work.
should
But-
have spent that money, like y'all said, doing a record deal instead of riding around looking to go shop at
Yeah.
H&M to look famous.
Yeah.
Right.
And he says like a social worker when he was in the foster care said, like, because when he said I wanted to be like a rap producer,
Or music producer. yeah.
producer, she said you're not going to be anything. So by doing all this stuff, it shows that he's doing something.
Right.
He just-
I can see, I think he is, this is not okay by any means, but I do see how that image, or whatever he's trying to portray, of him riding around in a limo, having security, that's kind of like his way of telling all these people who said he couldn't that he made it, even though he hasn't really.
It's kind of sad because
It's a completely fake lifestyle, but that maybe they believed it at that point. You know?
I feel like with like TMZ and stuff, I think his mind is getting warped by like, this is the image that like celebrities have,
Right.
Who cares about
Well, it
talent?
totally
It's like secure, it's limos and security guards and everything. That's all it is.
It definitely is. There are so many untalented famous people.
Yeah. But they
Like, that's not even
but
a joke.
he's not an heiress or anything,
Right. Well, he might be talented, or at least he definitely
Yeah.
thinks he is. Maybe he thinks he deserves.
But he doesn't have any, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He aggravated me like really bad whenever he was talking about him being in foster care and all that kind of stuff, just because it's like every time people screw up, they want to go to their hard times and they want to talk
want-
about,
yeah,
oh,
they
I
want you to
did
make
this
feel
because
bad. Yeah.
I wasn't wanted and I wasn't this and I wasn't that. Well, you lied. Like,
Yeah. Well, he
Show him-
obviously doesn't care about the damage he did to everyone involved.
He has no remorse, and I feel like he said that whole foster care thing. I don't even know if it's true, Because
well, it's hard to believe anything you say.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
says when everything's been a lie at this point.
Yeah, and was he just saying that for like pity, like to make you feel like remorse, like sadness for him? Because it wasn't work. It just made me feel like gross. You know, like are you lying? Like you're really stooping this low to lie about something so like sad? You know?
Well, obviously he was doing something in the scam world. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a second, but apparently he was doing something right because he has been scamming people for so long in so many ways. Like they're kind of, you know, questionable because they didn't catch on sooner, but still he covered all of his bases. He's pretty smart about it, you know, having the different profiles and all that
plays
stuff.
the pity card too, like he was telling.
Well, obviously
Lucille,
he does.
"Oh,
Obviously
everyone
he does.
hates me. Everyone
he would
uses me for my
send her-
money."
Well, that's how you reel people in. Like, that's just another move. Sorry, I had to play, like, you know, defend him for a second. But I did think that I was like, wow, he really did think about
It's easy
this.
nowadays. Like, that's why this show exists. It's so easy to, like, kind of manipulate people into thinking you're somebody you're not.
Well, I mean, answer this. If you see someone, just a random person driving down the street in a limo, you get out, they have security guards and like lights are flashing, the whole thing, you think they're famous, you know? And that's what he wanted. He wanted people to think he was famous, whether he was or not. And that mission was completed.
But it's
it's
confusing because like, is he saying, "Yo, I'm Kidd Cole. Google me"? Like nobody's gonna know.
Well, that's
what
what
he
he was
looks like.
setting up.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently he had fake articles about him having events in D.C. that the limo drivers believed. You know. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like he had it planned out a lot more than other catfishes do.
It's weird. I don't know, because he showed no remorse or no, like he didn't even look like he felt guilty.
Oh, he didn't.
Which is weird. Like what's
Do they
wrong
ever
with this?
though? Do they ever though?
I guess not, but you could tell, like, I feel like in his eyes, he didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong or anything. Like, some people, you know, they're mean. Like,
like last. Last week was good.
The one before last week, she was a terrible person, and you could tell, like, she knew what she was doing.
Right.
This guy, I'm not sure if he knows that what he's doing is so bad and ruining people's lives.
Well, I just think he's so selfish that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he's the victim no matter what.
Right.
He's looking at it like, oh, I had this hard life, so everyone owes me something.
Yeah. It makes me
So
sick.
disgusted.
Yeah. And clearly, like, afterwards they have he said the route he's taking isn't correct, and then he's going to change that route.
Right. Well, he's trying to end the episode like
on a
happy note. He's like, he learned something from
changed.
it. He's like, I'm going to change. I promise that I'll make it right.
Things done.
Yeah.
And I'll do the work that's necessary to become an artist.
But does he? Because then he
doesn't.
Yeah, the 2 month later thing.
He refuses to.
But you know
follow
what
up.
makes me so sad out of this whole thing is how Lucille said, if it's too good to be true, then it probably
I know
is.
that
Like,
was really sad.
That's like, girl.
That's what
good
she looks at
can
things
still
now.
happen.
Yeah.
Like you got to be featured on Catfish.
Well, she got her life together. She changed her major to criminal justice,
That's awesome
which I thought
for her.
totally fits her because
Yeah.
she really turned to in the episode about
And
how
she
he
was
should
pretty
deal with it.
smart. Like she, you know,
Clearly,
She's definitely
she was
smart.
from the
organized.
background that
Yep.
she came from, which they were in Lucille's hood.
Yeah.
So coming from Lucille's hood, I'm glad she.
She definitely
She
had
has-
some street smarts and, you know, is
Yeah.
able to plan stuff and, you know, make things happen.
She better
So-
investigate
was.
everything now.
She sounded like she was a good assistant too, like how she was helping him and everything. So it's great that she's turning it around to she'd be an awesome, like,
yeah, she seems like a really
police
hard
officer
worker
or anything.
and
Yeah.
Right.
everything.
And then so he refused to do a
follow-up
follow-up interview,
interview.
but she said that she had heard from him recently and that he, or she looked it up,
Co-produced.
that he co-produced Drunken
Drunken
Love,
Love.
Beyonce's Drunken
Beyonce's
Love.
And that he's going to be performing around LA this summer.
And that he still hasn't paid anyone. So
Yes.
obviously he learned nothing. He never intended to change.
Yeah.
this
and
means we have
I
to get
just-
tickets though for the summer show.
I know, right? So maybe he's legit now. We don't know.
Maybe.
But I think it
Bring
just,
your
I'm
son
glad it was
down.
on Catfish, though, so that people are aware that this person is fake. Hopefully they keep that Facebook page up so that people don't fall in the same trap and that those sorts of articles come up before his fake, legit ones.
I think it's really cool that Catfish did something different and wasn't like a romantic thing or anything. It like just shows that there's other forms of catfish out there, and
Totally.
watch
yeah.
out. And it's a great way to use this show, you know,
Right.
to show like that there's
Yeah, I love how this season they are definitely mixing it up more, doing different types of catfish situations. It's not all romantic, and also it's not always not who they're saying they are. Because this guy is like saying he is who he is. This is like who he thinks he is.
Mm-hmm. This one was like the little brother, big sister.
Right. Like it was more of a business partnership than it was like a
boss and employee type almost.
Right.
It was
But not
so,
even.
I don't know. It was such a fast business partnership. 2
Yeah.
weeks, like all this happened in 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
just,
And it's been
so
going
crazy.
on too though with other people. It's just sad to see like people just don't change. Like there's so many bad people out there. Like the internet's good for certain things, but then sometimes it's too easy to create like pages and everything. And
I mean, if you can make your own MTV artist page, that is scary. Like I could go on there and I had the worst singing voice ever.
Yeah.
And be like, Sterling, like this new up and coming like pop singer.
just like how you could create your own Wikipedia page, I think too.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows Wikipedia. You can do that. I had no idea about MTV artist page though.
Yeah.
I'm just not tech savvy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we know we won't be getting catfished by you anytime soon.
Yeah. So I guess
That we know of.
I guess we should. Do we have any like news and gossip or
You
Well, I don't know
do.
anything about Kidd Cole.
no? Yeah, I
Any
think.
news
Well,
and
apparently
gossip?
that he's going to be touring in.
I heard that he co-produced with Beyonce, so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good, right?
He's really making it big time.
Yeah. The only news and gossip I have is that Neve was modeled for Rockaware,
Oh.
which is pretty cool.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so there's an article on MTV about it.
What is Rock Aware?
It's Jay-Z's clothing line.
Yeah.
See, shows how much I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, you really are.
And any predictions? Are we just moving into-
Predictions. I predict that
Your AfterBuzz
Kidd Cole is going to
TV.
get really popular.
Yeah.
And he's going to blow up.
I think that. I
I'm
think
just
that.
kidding. He really isn't. I think hopefully, I'm hoping that he'll get caught legally and so that he's forced to stop as opposed to continuing.
That's what I
But
don't get.
just
How
think
it's not
hilarious.
legal. I don't know.
Well, it's not a criminal
Yeah.
suit. He's not like, I don't know. And maybe if the money that he owes gets to a certain point, then they'll be
yeah.
able to step in legally.
I think. Yeah. I feel like he's not going to change.
I predict that he will eventually get caught and he'll eventually have to either go to jail or something. It's not looking like a good life for you, dude.
Yeah.
And
Unless he gets discovered during one of his shows in
Yeah.
LA.
Maybe-
That's totally legit.
maybe Lucille will be the police officer to arrest him.
There
That
we
would
go.
be awesome.
That'll be full circle. It'll come full circle.
It really will be.
Next week though is pretty cool. It's Tracy Toms is gonna be in it. She's from Rent, which I like. I'm a big fan.
The movie or the show?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was.
Which one did she play?
She played Maureen's girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah. I forget what her,
okay.
Joanne. I
Can't
think.
remember, but I love that song,
Yeah.
that duet they sing.
Yeah.
Well, she's getting
Take
catfished.
me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Take Me Baby.
No,
yeah.
no, wait. That's the other.
Something.
That's the other
Take Me
couple.
Baby. Oh, never
Take
mind.
me. No, I think they both sing it. I don't know.
Okay, all right. We'll discuss it next week.
But yeah, yeah. So that was pretty cool. Where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Jessie Owen.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
And you can find me, Kelly, at Holly Weirdo, and on Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, that was super fun.
Thanks
See
for
you next
tuning in,
week.
guys.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
give us your comment.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.